welcome to the Puck Drops Here podcast. I'm your host, Jon Crawford. Due to some technical difficulties, our video portion of the podcast is not available this week. But we will be back next week, and we've got all this stuff ironed out. So you can either just go ahead and listen to the show here, or you can go down to our website and click on the podcast there. Either way, we apologize. We'll see you all next week. Enjoy the games. Hello and welcome to the Puck Drops Here podcast. I'm your host, Jon Crawford, along with my brother Howie, here for episode number 36. 36 in season 2, Howie. And we have now, and we have now completed the first round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. And the teams are all set for a start tonight of the second round. It's exciting stuff. So, what has
correct? Well, yeah, I'm waiting for tomorrow night.
I know you are, but it starts tonight. Playoffs.
Yeah.
Second round. What's been going down?
Well, I'm not too happy this morning because,
I thought
because I had that 3 a.m. meeting at my work.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
And so it was supposed to be myself and 2 other shift managers there.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to be going over dry runs of our PowerPoint presentations that we're going to be giving.
For training purposes, I suppose.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But because, meeting was for 3 a.m. My first manager showed up at about 3:15. Then we waited and we waited. Finally, after an hour, we called the other one and we woke him up.
Oh.
Which actually was funny because he's actually supposed to be there anyway at 3.
Right. Oh, nice.
To relieve me.
Oh, okay. So it was a good thing you woke him up. Okay.
Yeah. But so we ended up canceling that meeting. So I ended up coming home about 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
My portion of the presentation, ironically, is the importance of punctuality.
That's good. That's good.
So in a way, I did my presentation.
Yeah. And there you go.
Yeah. This is why it's important.
Yeah. So I can go home at a reasonable hour.
Yeah. And not waste my time.
Not having to call in my relief. Wake him up from a dead sleep when he come in. Oh, gosh. Well, I've had a long week because I had to work an extra day this week because we are short-handed, so I had to. My whole week is thrown off now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just don't know what day it is. I have to go by playoff calendar days. So that's the only way I know what date it is by the playoffs.
Yeah, I pretty much have to look at a calendar constantly.
Yeah. So there you go. Hey, the first round is over. So let's kind of talk about that first before we get into the second round. because I know. Well, it ended the other night with that. Did you watch the Tampa Bay Detroit?
I caught the last period.
Wow, what a great game! It was a great series, but what a great game that was to end it. And congrats to Tampa Bay. They move on, and they now play Montreal. Started on Friday. And Detroit goes and hits the golf course. But the series I wanted to talk to you about was the Minnesota series. Minnesota. I mean, since
they're looking good.
Since the trade deadline, Howie, they are the team to beat. I want to see. Well, the second round is going to be interesting to see. That's going to be a good series, but I don't think they're going to have. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But wow.
But no, they did look good though. And
they did.
As I predicted, I think I don't know if it was at the beginning of the season, but I know it was when we were doing our playoff predictions, when we were doing our Stanley Cup predictions.
Right.
St. Louis.
Yes.
Always fall apart in the playoff.
Yeah, I had picked them to
once
go
again
to the
they
Cup.
did.
And they did. Yes, they did. Minnesota, though, they outplayed them. They were so fast, except for that game. Was it 5, where they got beat up a little bit? That was the only game. Was it game 5?
Oh, where they lost 6-1?
Yeah. Was that game 5? I can't remember now. But that was the only game where they looked like they were just kind of...
No, that was game 4.
Was it game 4? They just kind of looked like they were on vacation that game. And I don't know if it was just... everybody has an off game, and I think Dubnyk had an off game, and they just couldn't generate the chances. And I think that St. Louis was kind of fired up at the same time to try to wrap things up.
Right.
And but Minnesota, man, I'll tell you, they're so fast, and they have their power plays come alive. They can score on the power play. Which, you remember when we were talking about how they had no power play?
Right.
Now all of a sudden they have one. And of course Dubnyk is the story. But man, that was such a great series. So congrats to them, and they move on and they play Chicago. The other surprise in the first round for me was Calgary. Another team that's really on fire right now.
Calgary looked really good.
They looked really good, and I think they could be a threat to Anaheim.
They like Minnesota. They have that strong third period game.
Yeah. But we'll get into those here in just a second. We're gonna do them a little bit different, I think, just because of the way they're scheduled. So we'll do them different.
If the people out there keep hearing in the background someone screaming, "Oh no, it's my dog's toy." It's a little right. Mr. Bill doll.
Right. Who's missing an arm right now and needs your help.
Yes. We're looking for donations to pick up Bill a prosthetic arm.
Oh, man.
Oh, I do have two bits of NHL news.
Okay.
One was, which should make things interesting in Edmonton to see what happens, is Edmonton has hired Peter Chiarelli as their president of hockey and GM. So we'll see what he can do up there, see if he can make some changes up there finally to see if he can get Edmonton back into a competitive mode.
Right. And you know what else would be interesting? Not that this is, I think it would just be interesting if, because all the things that we're hearing now about St. Louis making all these big changes, what if they got rid of Hitchcock and Edmonton picked him up?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Would be interesting. Well, I know too. The big one will be everyone's going to be waiting to see what Babcock does too.
Yeah. So
both of those could make some interesting. Maybe Babcock will go to St. Louis.
very possible. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting off season as far as see who goes where.
Yeah.
Coaching wise.
Right. Did you have any other?
The only other thing that I have in front of me, it's the final showing for the team by team breakdown of average attendance for each team.
Oh, okay.
And your top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Your top 10 starting with 10 at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Now this is regular season.
This is regular season.
Okay.
So your 10th best average attendance in the league was Tampa Bay, followed or preceded, I guess actually, by Minnesota, which they average basically standing room only.
Mm-hmm.
Their average is 19,023, and if I remember correctly, their arena seating wise is only just over 18,000.
Oh wow! Well, that's pretty good.
So,
and then sitting at number 9.
9.
Wow.
Then you have Toronto, then Calgary, Washington, Philadelphia, Detroit, Montreal, Chicago, and number 1 in the league, your Los Angeles Kings.
Really? Wow. Well, I know that back in the day, when they seated at the Fabulous Forum 16,005.
Correct. Yeah, 'cause now they're averaging 22,266 as their average.
Right. Interesting.
At the bottom of the list, who do you think's at the bottom?
I'm going to say Florida?
Yeah, just over 11,000 a game.
Wow. Yeah. That would have been, So, could that be the new Seattle?
It's very possible. And my guess would probably be there were probably more people standing outside the Baltimore Orioles Chicago White Sox game last night than there was at a Florida Panthers game.
Standing outside.
Yeah,
right.
Standing outside. There were probably more people there than fans inside a Florida Panthers game.
Right.
Did you see that? Did any of the highlights from that game?
From the baseball game?
Yeah,
I saw it.
It was just weird.
Was big news out here. I mean, it's
it was just kind of weird to sit there and you could actually hear the ball hit the leather of the glove.
Yeah.
They were showing this one clip I like. I gotta find it. Maybe we'll
but it would be fun to play like that.
Yeah.
You know? But
yeah, it was. I think some of the players and the broadcasters kind of had fun with it. Because there was one, I wonder, let's see if I could find it real quick.
Yeah, that whole thing in Baltimore has been crazy. A buddy of mine from work went to the game last Saturday when all this stuff kind of started, And he never made it to the game. He was right there at the stadium at an intersection and sat in that intersection for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Trying to get out.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
No, I can't find it. No, I guess one of the broadcasters, though, for I apologize talking about baseball, but I thought it was entertaining. They were showing on the news last night that during the game, because of the empty crowd and how quiet it was there, called one of the plays using his golf voice broadcasting.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, here's I don't know any of the players. We'll say Bob.
Bob.
Bob. Bob steps up to the plate. The delivery. Oh, and he hits that one way out there. He runs around first. He gets to. He's at second place. He's in the second with a double now. He's in a good position now for the green jacket. But if you can find it out there, it's
I'm
good.
sure we can find that. It's probably out on YouTube.
If I can find it, I'll throw it out. I'll tweet it out there or something. Put it on the website.
All right. Well, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, and that is the second round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. So let's talk a little bit first about the Thursday games, tonight's games, and then we'll go over to Friday night's games. So we're going to go east-west, east-west.
That's fine.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the Rangers and Capitals game first. The Rangers and Capitals game first.
Yeah, Rangers, Caps, and then Calgary at Anaheim.
All right. Now, when I was starting to look at all these series for the second round, I was trying to think, well, okay, for the Rangers to win this, what are they going to do? For the Capitals to win this, what would they do? Or what do they have to do? And for the Rangers, I think for them to win this series against the Capitals, they just need to keep doing what they're doing. They play aggressive hockey anyway. Mm-hmm. And Lundqvist has to be just as good as he was in the first round.
Yeah,
I think that's the key for them. Do you agree with that?
I would agree. Yeah.
Now for the Capitals to win this, Holtby has to be on, at the top of his game. And they're going to have to start getting playoff hockey out of Ovechkin, who's, and Backstrom. Because how many points did Ovechkin have in the first round?
I don't know. I had to look at the points.
He could have done so much better in the first round. I mean, he didn't have. I can't remember what his numbers were, but they weren't there. So, in order for them to even stay with the Capitals, they're going to have to start getting scoring from Ovechkin and Backstrom.
Mm-hmm.
I think Backstrom had like 6 points in the first round, 6 points, and Ovechkin had 5 points. But they need to get more in order for them to beat the Rangers.
Right.
So, and that's kind of how I've been looking at each one of these series. Is sort of like that. Now, what are your thoughts on that series?
With that, I think for the Rangers to win, really, all they really need to do is if they could corral Ovechkin and Backstrom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because really that's all they really need to do. If they can shut those two down, they'll be fine. And for Washington, they need to have the scoring more spread out.
Well, I agree with that. And I think that the Rangers need to because the Capitals kind of play that scrappy style of hockey, so they're going to have to stay on their aggressive style the way the Rangers play. I mean, they need to just carry over what they're already doing now.
Right.
They just need to carry over what they're doing in the first round.
Yeah, and Ovechkin had 5 points during that series.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Two goals, 3 assists.
And then Backstrom had 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
3 goals, 3 assists.
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be real easy for Capitals. I think it's going to be. They're the ones that are really going to have to step it up to stay in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good. I think the series is going to go either one of 2 ways. It's either going to get drawn out to possibly 7 games, or it's going to end really quick.
Yeah, and I think that's going to depend on what kind of Capitals team we're going to see.
Right.
How well is Holtby going to be playing?
Yeah.
And are we going to get scoring out of Ovechkin and Backstrom? And from the rest of the lineup.
Right.
So, but I think that's where I think you're right. I think it's either going to end quick for them, or they need to step up their game.
Yeah, it's going to go either way. They're going to draw it out, or it's going to go real fast.
Yeah. So that's that series. It's going to be a good one. That starts tonight at 7:30. The other game tonight is the Calgary Flames Atlanta. I'm thinking Atlanta Flames, Calgary and Anaheim. Wow, I just went back in time. It was like 1973.
I think if they get some decent play out of Tom Lysiak, they should have a shot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they'll be starting Jim Craig and Ned or not tonight.
Lanny McDonald, acting. Oh boy. All right. So, do you want to start with this one?
This one, I think, I'm hoping Calgary could just knock him out. I really do. I'm so sick of Anaheim. But I think what's going against Calgary, they have a hard time playing in Anaheim. They haven't won a game in that. Well, they haven't won a regular season game in Anaheim since 2004, and I don't think, if I read it correctly, they haven't won a postseason game there since 2006. But I think if Calgary could do what Winnipeg did not, which is, I think the Calgary can, is play a good, solid, go into a third period with the lead and hold it, which I think they can, even though they're more known for coming back in the third period. Mm-hmm. But if they can go into a third period with the lead and hold it, they could win the series.
All right.
Because both these teams are coming in. They're both good third period teams.
Yep.
So I think going in the series, I think whoever goes into that last period with the lead is going to have the most pressure on them, not the team trailing.
Right.
But I think if Calgary could play a tight defensive game, they should be able to hold Anaheim off. And if Jonas Hiller can go in there and play really well,
right?
And I think Calgary too. I think they have a much stronger goaltender tandem than Anaheim does.
Mm-hmm.
But Anaheim's the only thing they really got going is their offense, and that's really it.
Right.
If you could shut down their offense, you could beat them. I think that's mainly going to be the main key to that whole series.
Yeah, I agree. I think in order for the Ducks to win, they need to just continue getting their scoring out of their secondary lines and do what they do, and score against Hiller. Mm-hmm. I think Hiller's their biggest obstacle. For the Flames, they just need to get past that playing in Anaheim thing. I agree with you. They just need to get past that. If they can steal home ice away, they could have a shot at this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I picked Anaheim to win this series, but I think I'll be rooting for Calgary. As much as I'm so mad at them for eliminating the Kings, I'm still mad at them, but they are sure fun to watch right now. So let's move on to, and that game is also on tonight. I can't recall what time it is, though. Oh, it's at 10.
It's 10
p.m. Eastern, right. So now let's talk about the Montreal-Tampa Bay series.
This is going to be 7 games right off.
It could. I think
it's going to go 7. This is going to be a really tight, fought game.
And I think, but in order for the Canadians to win this game, I too thought, well, this could go to 7 games, and I was trying to think, well, what do they have to do? I think what will spark the Canadians to win this is to get their power play working, because their power play has been awful.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't score enough goals, even strength, that they're going to need that extra guy and take advantage of their power play situations and score. That's the only way I see them get. That would be their advantage if they can get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible this series might come down to special teams.
It could.
Because 5-on-5, both of them are very evenly matched.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. As far as Tampa Bay, yeah, they probably they have to step up on our power play. But I think they really need to get more out of Stamkos and Bishop in order. I think I can't remember what Stamkos had, but he hasn't scored. He hasn't done anything in the first round. Okay, so they're going to have to get more out of Stamkos and Bishop, I think, in order to get the upper hand on that series.
Yeah, I agree. If Stamkos could get back his game to what he's normally done, I think Tampa Bay could pull it out.
Yeah. But it will be a good series, and I think it may go to 7.
Yeah, and if he does start playing really well, they could just get Subban to slash his wrist and maybe break it or something.
Yeah.
So now like they won't lose him anyway. They'll just let him, hey, don't do that again.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah.
Play nice. Play nice.
Idiots.
All right. the series I've been kind of waiting to get to is the Chicago-Minnesota series. Oh, and by the way, that game is on Friday night. The Montreal game is on Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. Minnesota-Chicago, Howie. How do you see this? Now, try not to be so biased.
Minnesota in 4. Sweep, baby.
Right.
No, I'm gonna go Minnesota in 6.
Minnesota in 6. That could be good. Now, this one, I too went ahead and I looked at each one of these teams. What do the Blackhawks need to do? What does Wild have to do? I think the Blackhawks, in order to win this, they're going to have to get their penalty kill back to top form. They cannot get themselves stuck in the box. The Wild have been so good at forechecking and just the speed at what they're playing. It's just incredible, and the scoring that they're getting out of all their lines. It's spread out really well, and so the Blackhawks are going to have a hard time just stopping the Wild's momentum. And they have to stay out of the box because the Wild have all of a sudden a power play.
Yeah, well, they too also need to figure out who's going to be in goal.
Well, they may have a little. Yeah, they might have a problem with that.
So it'll be interesting, but
right, and they're going to have to. They're going to have to take Dubnyk out of the game right away because he's hot. They need to score early and take him out.
Yeah, they're going to have to get under his skin really quick.
Yeah. Now, for the Wild to win this, they're not going to have to do many things to change what they do. What can they do? They have to continue to play well on the power play. They have to keep their momentum. When they score first, they're a third period team. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily that they have to score first. It helps, but they're a good third period team, and they're good when they're behind. But if they can just kind of continue what they're doing, then they'll be all right and they'll win this.
Yeah, I mean they play really well on the road. Their home game it's average, but
but they've improved it. They've improved their game.
They have improved it. I think for Minnesota, I mean, there's not really much they really need to adjust. They just got to keep doing what they're doing.
No, they have to continue getting scoring from that Parisi, Granlund, Palmerville line. They had like 17 points against St. Louis in that series.
Vanek could probably step his game up a little bit and then start contributing a little bit more.
Right.
But I mean, they look good.
They look really good. They look really good, and I'm looking forward to that series. It's going to be a good series, and could be one of the best series in the second round. I like to try to pick a series that's going to stand out. I think that one might be it. It could be the Calgary-Anaheim series if Calgary comes out fighting. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to have to come out fight. They got to get past that whole Anaheim thing, but anyway. I think that the Minnesota-Chicago series could be the series. I don't remember how. I think Minnesota can win this in 5. I think they can win this in 5.
See them do it in 5.
I think they can, but it's really going to depend on how Chicago plays this. It's going to be interesting to see the game 1. To see how they tackle this Minnesota team who's just, they're amazing right now. So that's it. That is the second round that we are all looking forward to, and begins tonight at 7 o'clock or at 7:30 with the Rangers and Capitals.
Correct.
So we'll wrap it up here, and we just want to thank everybody listening to the podcast, downloading, and watching us on YouTube. Are you pointing in the right place this time, Howie?
Yes.
Okay. If you, YouTube, right? YouTubers, you can, if you just go over to the corner over there, over by Howie, right, and right there around chart somewhere it says subscribe. Click on that, subscribe, like it, share it, get us out there. Also visit us at www.thepuckdropshere.com. And you can catch our podcast there, also on our podcast page. Tweet us at Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Google Plus and all those wonderful things. Anything to add, Howie?
Negative.
All right. So with that, enjoy the second round. Here we go. And we will catch you all next week right here on the Puck Drops Here podcast. We bid you all adieu.